All right, great. All right, so this week's prompt, as this week's reading and lectures focused on the various approaches to studying leadership, please discuss with your group which perspective or approach made the most sense to you. In considering the approaches and theories presented, think about your own beliefs about leadership and how leaders can motivate followers to achieve goals. I'll go first. I think of all the approaches that I saw and read about, I would say the most that stuck out to me was situational approach. The thing being that I don't think the others quite cover them as much as the situational approach, giving you kind of a wide variety of ways to deal with things. And I think the thing that really stuck out with me with situational approach was achievement-oriented leadership, which basically means communication focusing on goal attainment and accomplishment, emphasizing the achievement of excellence by demonstrating confidence in the ability of followers to achieve their goals. So basically, I think that it's up to a leader to kind of give incentive to those under them or followers to kind of associate themselves with like, maybe commission, things like that, or, incentive to work, like stock options, things like that. And you try to make employees feel like they're a part of the company and not just doing a job. And I think this will help you really get more out of your employees. And it really comes down to another thing called the path goal theory, which is that followers are more motivated to be productive when they believe that successful task completion will provide a path to a valuable goal. So basically, as a leader, you need to create value to your employees so that they know what they're doing isn't just benefiting someone else, but it's benefiting themselves as well. And I think that'll allow you to get more out of your employees. Yeah, that's what I thought. Anybody else want to go?
I'd be happy to jump in next. So Matthew Erikson, sorry that I missed last week, guys. I'm also going to jump on situational leadership, and part of the reason for that is I've spent 21 years with the Starbucks Coffee Company, and one of the things that we have dug into is situational leadership and Ken Blanchard's approach to that, which falls along the same lines that you were just talking about as well. But one of the things I really like is being able to understand how to meet the needs of the employees that you have, or the essentially the motivation level of where they sit, and then to match your leadership style with where they're at. So if you have somebody who's a brand new employee, you're not going to give them the highest level of leadership. You're going to give them the leadership that they're at, and vice versa as well, so that as you're progressing somebody through a level of development, you're matching your leadership style with them so that they stay motivated and they stay engaged with the process. And that can start with the most basic menial tasks of like what I do, which is teaching people how to make espresso, to what other people do is learning how to run stores and so on and so forth. But that was one of the things that really resonated with me.
Cool. Yeah.
Okay, I'll go next. I'm also going to talk about the situational approach. It seems like with this approach, you can actually, in certain ways, like use your personal traits, your personal characteristics. I don't entirely agree about the trait approach, although some of its traits do play a role in a leader. Like, for example, when it talks about the social appraisal, and it talks about the emotional intelligence. So, for example, under the path goal theory, under situational approach, it talks about like the 4 communication styles. So when it comes to a moment, a time when the followers need some type of support, I think there should be like some type of some level of emotional intelligence to be able to like understand them and try to be in their shoes, and actually care about their concerns and well-being. And also like when it comes to when there's a situation when there's probably like a conflict going on, and you actually have that ability to de-escalate the situation. So the situational approach and the trait approach kind of like links with each other up to certain points, not entirely, but I will definitely say that the situational approach stood out to me the most.
Okay, can I get this one? First thing, I'm sorry about like the last time I missed the meeting. And for this for today, I will talk about leadership. I think for leadership, must have like the putting the vision and need to share the information to everyone and to give the information and the knowledge and the main way to the other people and balance to the everybody. And when I read like the chapter 3, I found like the four communication style like the first one like the relative, relative, relative leadership and supposal leadership and participative leadership and achievement oriented leadership. And for me, I would like the participative like the leadership. For example, like it will be like include the work activity and for example, in my last time I have a job and like the job in the restaurant and I with my boss to work every day and I think my boss can with me to work and help the every customer to utilize the machine and together face some of the difficult and we together to see. I think it's the where we like the improve the team and help the group more better. And I think it's very helpful for my boss and for myself. And I really think like the participation, the leadership is best for me. That's it.
Okay. I can jump next. I'm not gonna talk about the situational approach, even though I thought it was one of the one that made more sense to me, because like two of you already said. But I also like the relational approach. I believe that also a company, in order to succeed, it needs a really good relationship between employees and their leaders. I believe when a leader has the not just the inherent ability to be charismatic, but also some experience and also be positive at what he does and also like pushing everybody, you know, to achieve their goals effectively, to do their job efficiency. I think yeah, I think it's a good way to achieve company goals and keep good relationships between leaders and followers. The trade approach is, I think, is very limited. Excuse me, did anyone took their headphones or something?
I think
I'm
it's
hearing my voice.
computer. All right, keep
What?
going.
Yeah, I was just I think I don't.
Hey, Tao,
Just
can you turn on your volume?
Yeah.
Sorry?
You turn down your volume.
I don't know.
Because it's going through.
Okay, it's fine. See, I was just saying that the trait approach is, I think it's too limited. I didn't really like it. So yeah.
Cool. Johnathan, you want to go?
We still have 3 minutes.
Well, for me, I kind of agree with how you guys feel for the situational approach. But at times, you know, you have to be able to adjust how you want to lead your group. Because, like, I've had classes where, you could feel confident one way, but as you meet up with new people and new groups, you know, that same approach might not necessarily work every single time. But situational shift gives you the flexibility to adapt and to change up for whatever new situation you need, or even with new group members, whether or not they're more accommodating or not. But yeah.
Cool. Yeah. I just want to finish what Davi said with relationship. It's pretty necessary to have. I mean, I think that personal approach is probably the best approach. Without a good relationship, with between the employee, just a company won't work.
Definitely.
Yeah. Cool. Does anybody else have anything?
Not that I can think of.
What time are we at?
We still have like a minute and 10 seconds for 12 minutes.
For 12 minutes?
We could like, what do you think that all these approaches are together?
Yeah.
Do you think that a leader presents all of this?
Yeah, I think the only one that is a little different would be the straight approach.
It's
something you're born with, but necessarily
sad thing is that there are still a lot of companies that still use the straight approach. I don't know about the United States, but like in my home country, there are still companies who use the straight approach.
All right, is that it?
All right.
All right, cool. I'm gonna stop the broadcast.
All right.